are you today? It's Helen here, and I want to talk to you today about ego. Do you have an ego? Do you have an ego but you don't know you have an ego? Is it good to have an ego? Is it bad to have an ego? How can ego affect your life? But before I get on to that, if you are here with me live, if you're coming in live or you're even watching the replay, please say hello. Tell me where you're coming in from. I love to go and say hello, after the live. If you've not connected with me before, please put the number 1 below. I'd like to reach out to you as well. And thank you very much for listening in. So for those of you that haven't listened to me on a live before, just a quick explanation of who I am and what I do. I predominantly help home-based business owners bring their business online. So things like social media, branding, Facebook marketing, lead generation and video marketing and those kind of things. How do you get more leads into your business? But I also do talk a lot about mindset because it's absolutely critical to the success in your business, in your life, in your relationships, absolutely everything. So today is a mindset topic, and I'm going to talk about ego and how destructive an ego can be. So as the title says, I just want to share with you five ways that ego can actually ruin your life. And we all have ego to some degree. We may not realize it, but we do, and the way we think and the way we react to things is often related to our ego. So I just want to raise some awareness and give you some reasons why, if you've got a really big ego, it can actually ruin a lot of things in your life, and it can affect your relationships, your career, growth of your business, and ultimately your happiness. So hopefully I can just, point some things out to you that can make you sort of think about, oh, is that me or is that not me? So, a lot of people think ego is confidence. They're way too confident, too cocky, etc. Confidence is actually a good thing. Confidence is actually really healthy. But ego is actually really destructive. And when we come from a place of ego, you're not coming from a place of love. And when you're not coming from a place of love, you're not necessarily thinking in a positive way, and that bounces off on other people and it gives out negative energy. So confidence is a good thing, but ego is actually really destructive. The first things it'll affect are your relationships, and that'll move on into your career, into your business. It'll stop your growth. It'll hinder you in so many ways. So let me just give you sort of 5 ways where ego can be really destructive in your life. The first thing is it makes you a lot less compassionate person when you've got ego. So when you've got ego, it actually makes you really defensive. And you have the inability to give people the benefit of the doubt. And, you think that people are out to get you. You think really sort of defensive about things, and you're really reactive to things. And that's not a positive sort of place to be. So I guess you're swinging towards the negative before you're swinging towards the positive. And not being a compassionate person can affect you in so many different ways in your life. And it's not an attractive quality if you're, really incompassionate. Is that a word? That's probably not even a word. So just ignore that. But it makes you a lot less compassionate. That's number 1. Number 2 is people don't realize it actually pushes people away from you. So as I said before, the first thing that'll be affected in your life is, if you've got a really big ego, is your relationships. So when it's all about you, you got ego, and sometimes people don't even realize they do this, but when you're so self-absorbed, when it's always about you, you end up pushing people away. People like to be surrounded by people that uplift them, that support them, that make them feel good, that give them compliments. When somebody's got a really big ego and it's all about them and all they ever talk about is them, if you've got those people that, they come over or you go to a dinner party and you don't have to say a word because they're doing all the talking. That is sometimes unbeknown to them, but that's all about ego. It's all about them, what they're doing in their life, the things that they've achieved and how good their kids are, or, what they've accomplished or what car they've just bought, or, that all comes from a place of ego. And eventually it actually pushes people away because you don't have much compassion for other people and you're not listening. One of the qualities that I've learned to have over my life is to listen to people. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. People with big egos, they do all the talking. They love to hear the sound of their own voice. They love to blow their own trumpet. They know best, etc. So having a really big ego does actually push people away. The third thing, it actually stops people from growing when they've got a big ego. So that affects them in a few ways. One, they think they know it all anyway. Have you ever worked with somebody like that? In your business or with your employment, that, what they say goes and they're not willing to negotiate. Somebody's really stubborn. If you know someone like that, send me some likes. If that resonates with you, let me know. So those people, it stops them from growing. They're not willing to listen, and they're really, really stubborn. Where that also hinders people is that if you're struggling, like if you're struggling in life, if you're struggling in your business, if you're struggling in your relationships, if you're struggling financially, if you've got an ego, that will stop you moving through all those struggles. So, some people might struggle in their business or struggle in a relationship and they just internalize it. They don't say anything, and weeks and months go by wasted with no growth whatsoever. It actually literally stops you in your tracks from growing because you're too stubborn to ask for help. You won't listen to anybody, and it might be that you even know the answers to what you should be doing, but you're not doing those things because your ego stops you. So having an ego in that way really stops you in your tracks, stops that growth, which when you stop growth, you get stuck in life. You really get stuck. And, in a business sense, you can go months and months and months and months not having any growth whatsoever because you're just literally stuck. So the fourth thing, having a really big ego actually makes you quite irrational. When all you want to do is prove that you're right, you've got a better way. It's all about you again. You don't make rational choices, and you will actually probably end up saying and doing things that you will regret because you're not thinking rationally. You're not thinking openly. You think you know it all. You make really quick judgments. You don't have that compassion that I spoke about before. So you're not open to seeing the bigger picture. You're not open to giving people the benefit of the doubt. You're not open to looking at things in a healthy way. You're reactive. It's all about you. It's all about you. Number 5, people with really big egos tend to be quite critical. Critical of others, they criticize and they complain. They complain about life. They complain about they don't have enough money, their business is not going well, and the reasons for that are to do with X, Y, Z, to do with somebody else. There's no self-responsibility there. They're critical of others, critical of people around them, critical of why things aren't working, and they complain a lot, and you actually have you don't have the ability to look for solutions. So what's really important is to throw away the ego, have compassion, be open, always give people the benefit of the doubt, come from a place of love, and just not be self-centered, if that makes sense. Because overall, all those things I've just mentioned, those 5 things that I've just mentioned, it actually stresses you. It creates stress in your life. And when you've got a lot of stress in your life, you'll be unhappy. So big egos will make you, they're selfish. You complain, you're self-absorbed. You throw your negativity out on other people without even realizing it. When you're always complaining about things in life, or, your way is the better way, and you're not willing to listen to other people, or you're not willing to open your mind to different solutions to improve your relationship or improve your business or improve your finances, you will get stuck in life. And that's not going to do you any favors. So your ego will infect your entire life. So the important thing is we've all got ego. Every single one of us. I've got ego. I recognized my ego not long ago. I'll give you an example. For those of you that know me, I spent, in my last job, I was 16 years in the corporate world in, high level position, general manager, CEO. And family circumstance, had to move to the country. I had to resign from my job because I couldn't travel that far, etc. But I'm still got connections back into that business world. So I'm not directly involved with that industry anymore. But after I left, I very quickly got drawn back to a few boards. So people said, "Oh, Helen, would you consult for us, or would you come and be on our board?" So because I still had the umbilical cord attached to my career of 16 years in that particular job, I said yes, and I still do sit on some of those boards. Now, when I go back to the city, and I put my suit back on, and I've got my pen and paper, and I'm contributing around that board table, or I'm chairing a meeting and I'm contributing to that meeting, it makes me feel good. And I leave that meeting thinking, I've still got it. I can still chair a meeting. I've still, I haven't lost it. And then, I'll drive away and I'll come back to the country and it's like, oh, do I really miss that? I think I miss that. I don't miss that. I don't miss the hours that I work. I don't miss spending my life working for my employer. I'm grateful to my employer. I loved my job. But I didn't live life. My kids didn't see their mum much. All of that. There were huge sacrifices for my job. I don't want to go back there. But my ego was sort of telling me, you're good at that. You feel good. It feels good. I've still got it. But that's only ego. I don't want to go back to that. It's just, it makes me, feel good and proud for sort of, not necessarily the right reasons. It's just ego. And that's okay. But I recognize it. So there are things, and the ways that you react in life might be related to your ego. So I'm not trying to offend anybody here if you've got an ego. I'm just trying to raise your level of awareness. Do you have an ego? And we all have an ego to some degree. But if your ego is affecting your relationships, is affecting the growth in your business, is affecting your finances, because of the way you think and, you're critical, or you're not growing, you're not open to things, or you're a little bit irrational how you react to things. Or if you are a major reactor and you just complain a lot and blame everybody else for what's going in your life, you've got major ego. So, just something to be really aware of if you want to, grow. Growth is on the other side of ego. So come from a place of compassion and try to come from a place of love, and you'll be better off for it. So that's my mindset soapbox this week. I just hope that gives you some food for thought. If that does give you, just a bit of insight, or, a bit of awareness as to, the importance of ego, or the importance of to get rid of your ego, then, please drop me a comment below and say, yeah, that made sense. I understand. I just like your feedback to know that, what I'm telling you is giving you value or not. So I really appreciate you listening in live or on the replay. If you want more, copies of videos that I've done on mindset, or the other Facebook Live I do a week is on training for those in a home-based business, then just click on the link above that goes through to my website, and I've got a video library of those two areas, one in mindset and one in training for those in the home-based business. So feel free to go and have a look around and check those videos out. So thank you for joining me, and until my next Facebook Live, which will be in 2 days' time. Now, what I'm talking about for the training video, for those of you in the home-based business, is although this could actually be handy for any business, Facebook strategies and hacks. So little things to increase engagement on your page, little things to do, little hacks to do with Facebook that might really help you if you're going, online, or you're building your business online. So look out for that in a couple of days' time. So until then, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.